So today was the Zoran's inauguration. Did you watch?
I definitely did. Definitely did. Pretty moving moment for a Muslim kid that grew up in the United States. So pretty amazing. What about yourself?
Same. I mean, growing up in New York. I mean, I would have never thought Muslim mayor. It's amazing to see, and his rise too. It's meteoric the last few years.
Yeah, because I mean, he went from state assemblyman to, and what is it, 2024? They showed a video on YouTube of him. I think it was in Bronx, and him trying to just get people to talk to him, and no one knew him.
Yeah,
And now
100%.
everybody knows him, and that,
100%.
it's wild.
Yeah,
Pretty.
and he has a lot of Bengalis in
Yeah.
his committees, which is also great.
Yeah, he always references Hillside Ave. Even today, he
I know.
referenced Hillside Ave again, and I was like, "Wow, that's like
Yeah,
that's,
yeah.
that's definitely the diaspora right there."
I know you've spoken to a few times. Have you spoken to him about digital assets?
I didn't really get a chance to as much. All I really did was able to show him my website for the transition team. So I just showed him the website, and I was like, "Hey, like, here's my
I know.
website," and he just cracked up about it, and then that was it. But we were being ushered to like take a picture and then go. So
I'm curious though, how does the democratic socialist agenda align with digital assets as a concept?
So it's interesting you mentioned that. So it depends on the digital asset,
Yeah.
right? Because you have certain more centralized entities as far as like digital currencies go, but then you have certain entities or assets such as Bitcoin, which is actually democratized. It's created by the people, for the people, and run by the people. So it's actually the most democratized system, potentially one of the most, if not the most democratized system in the world as far as tech goes.
Where do you remember when you first heard about Bitcoin and tell us, I guess, how did you get into it?
Yeah, that's a good question. Oh, you know what? It was actually 2009, Virginia Tech. I went to Virginia Tech for my undergrad. My friend, he mentioned something about Bitcoin. And then that was it. Then I was like, all right, whatever. And then when I really started getting into it was 2017. I remember my little brother and I, we were just having a conversation, and he just said, "Hey, like you should look into these digital assets and Bitcoin." And him and his friends were getting into these random coins. So summer of 2017, I moved to New York City, October 2017. Met some random people, and they were like, "Yeah, you should get into Bitcoin." And I was thinking, "What is this Bitcoin?" Bitcoin goes up to about 19, 20,000, December of 2017, and that's when I really started taking a look.
Well, where did you start? Like, what was your first place to learn about it?
Um, Man,
YouTube,
that's a
YouTube
great
model.
question. Oh, you know what? Actually, I do remember. It was YouTube
Yeah.
and just watching videos and understanding the purpose of Bitcoin as far as what is it solving exactly, right? So then I started looking into the monetary system, the financial system, learning about, oh, the American banking system is a fractional lending system, etc. So yeah, it was honestly just YouTube, and then you like talk to people, you get in a chat group somehow,
Hmm.
um, but you would really have to filter through a lot of things. Actually, the very first thing was there used to be this podcast called Tales from the Crypt.
Oh,
So Tales from the Crypt, now it's called Truth for the Commoner, TFTC. So shout out to Marty Bent, but he was a big reason I got into it. And so every day, actually, on my long commute from Penn Station all the way to Queens College for my engineering job, I would just listen to his podcast,
okay,
and that's how I was indoctrinated
okay.
into
I mean,
Bitcoin.
so I mean, I wanted to talk to you because I think in our community, the Bengali community, it's sort of like a lot of people see it as a scam.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people don't understand it.
Yeah.
And some people see it as like a get rich quick scheme.
Right.
So I know, and your whole goal with your podcast is to demystify Bitcoin. So that's why I wanted to talk to you because I see some value in it, and maybe others don't. Others do also. So what are your goals? How do you want to demystify Bitcoin?
That's a great question. So you obviously have so many different, I don't want to say tiers, but like sects of Bitcoiners, crypto bros, and whatnot. And a lot of them, I feel, yeah, it's a lot of the coins and meme coins are scammy. Just let's just call it
There's,
what they
there's
are.
like 50,000 of them, or
Yeah, and exactly.
500,000 of
And
them.
half of them are just a bunch of rug pulls because people just want to make money. It's like, okay, that's fine if you want to make money. So with Bitcoin, I want to specifically say that's not as that's not a scam. I was about to say that's not what no, that's just not a scam
Yeah.
at this point. So my biggest thing is just to teach people about, okay, this is what Bitcoin is, digital currency. That's all it is, just like the US dollar is currency. This is digital currency. And this is why it matters to you. I mean, maybe you won't use it right now, but I mean, people should be paying attention because when companies such as JP Morgan Chase, BlackRock offer Bitcoin ETFs, that's something to take notice at that point. And then also, I really want to give more exposure to this because I just don't want our communities to just feel some sort of negative impact later when Bitcoin really is mainstream, and then everyone's like, "Wait, what? Like, why didn't I know about this before?" And
Then they're buying it at $1 million versus
precisely
80,000. Yeah.
because I mean, if you think about it, back in 2017 when I was at 20,000, people were saying, "Oh, I should have bought it at 3,000,
Yeah.
1,000." It's at 87, 90,000 right now.
Yeah.
And people, I've heard this sentiment every single time. I should have bought it now. I should have bought it now. So,
Yeah. Yeah. Everybody has a, I could have bought it. I had this, I could have bought
sure.
it at this price story.
Yeah.
And so, but let's step back a little bit. So there's digital assets
Mm.
and then there's Bitcoin. So if you were to explain to somebody what the difference is between, let's say, Bitcoin and Ether or some of the other digital assets, like how would you explain it and what are the differences between them?
Yeah, that's a great question. So with Bitcoin, it's a truly decentralized network. So it's run by a bunch of computers and then miners. So essentially the computer like this, it'll validate the transaction, sends it to the miners like an ASIC rig, and they're all around the world, right? Me and you can run one, and then we just download the Bitcoin node, and then we just run it. That's it. So something like Ethereum, they focus on smart contracts and they're proof of stake. So essentially, there's no proof of work anymore. It used to be proof of work at one point. There used to be mining and all that stuff, but now it's just proof of stake. So just put in the Ethereum you want to stake in there to help run the network.
Yeah.
So that's the biggest difference.
Have you ever mined yourself? Have you ever mined Bitcoin or Ether?
I actually have not.
Okay.
I actually have not. I probably did download the a Bitcoin node once, but I've never mined. And especially by the time I got around to it, you needed an ASIC rig. Well, actually, now it's more. There are actually mini miners that you can buy now. So I should probably do that, but I haven't.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So what you got in 2017?
Yeah, not a millionaire or anything like that. Just that's when I got exposed to it, started putting like money into it. And yeah, just started doing research into it. And I remember when it went down.
Yeah.
So it went down and then all my friends bailed, and then I don't know what it was, but I was just being very contrarian and I was curious, thinking, well, I mean, like, what if like what is the big deal about this? Like, why is it around? But yeah, that was
So you were saying about what the differences are at Ether and Bitcoin. So why is it Bitcoin the digital asset that you're sort of like passionate about?
so that was really 2017 it all started. probably 19, I had a lot of these coins. And so it was basically I had NEM, XCM, Neon, all these random ones, Ethereum, like things that people don't even know what they are. They
Yeah.
don't even, some of them don't even exist.
Yeah.
And so then I started looking into it. I was like, I don't even understand half this stuff. So then I started dropping them. And then I started consolidating. And then eventually I got down to Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Cardano. Cardano just, I didn't feel like was making enough headway, especially the past 7 years. So I dropped that. And then I just stayed into Bitcoin and Ethereum. But Bitcoin, its main thing was there's no one person to really ruling it, right? Not that Vitalik Buterin for Ethereum is like the king or whatnot. I mean, he is seen as like the pseudo king, right? He is Ethereum in a sense. However, with Bitcoin, I'm like, who is it? Like no one knows who invented it. There's so many like theories about it, but it's just run by everyone.
Yeah. Yeah, some of the theories are insane.
Yeah. What have you heard
Well,
as far
wasn't
as that
that one
goes?
about was it Nakamoto, right?
Yeah,
But
it's
it's like
Satoshi
an
Nakamoto.
acronym for like all the Korean companies, like Samsung, Sony.
Oh,
It's like the way
really?
how it ties into the name Nakamoto.
Oh, I haven't heard
Yeah, that
that
was
one.
interesting.
Okay.
But there's this also like this professor that passed away. That's I think a lot of people believe it's him, right?
Okay. Yeah, I think I might have heard that one.
Yeah.
Uh,
But so it's interesting that you said I think you see that as a positive, the fact that we don't know who it is, whereas
yes.
Vitalik is sort of like aligned with Ether.
Yeah.
Some people,
Yeah,
some
yeah.
people might see that as a negative. They're like, okay, we have no idea what this is. Is this the Russian government or is it North Korea? Like, but you think it's a positive because no one can control it.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Definitely. And yeah, absolutely. So it's like going back to the entire conspiracy theories, people are saying, "Oh, it's aliens. It's probably the CIA." Dude, oh, here's another fun thing. So there are a couple of strategic reserves that states have, Bitcoin strategic reserves, and there's only one city in the United States that has a Bitcoin strategic reserve. It is Roswell, New Mexico.
Oh
And
wow,
if you know about Roswell, New
that's crazy.
Mexico,
Oh wow,
that's where all the aliens
oh
are.
wow,
So I mean,
oh wow.
you, you
I had no
put your
idea.
yeah.
That's interesting.
So it's fascinating. But yeah, for me, it's just because whenever you have a central entity or a central figure, right, all that power gets to their head
Yeah,
eventually. So with Bitcoin, whose head is it getting to? Sure, like you could have BlackRock and whatnot, Jamie Dimon from JP Morgan Chase, they make a lot of money off of it. But
yeah,
at the end of the day, they're not controlling it. They
yeah.
can't control it, and that's really the beauty of it. At that point, there's no power to control at
hmm
that point.
So you mentioned Jamie Dimon. So now the last few years,
Hmm.
sort of the big banks and financial services or companies have been more pro Bitcoin, like you said, with the
Yes.
ETF. So
Hmm.
I guess explain to people what the ETFs is, and then how does that impact the price of Bitcoin in a positive or a negative way?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll be upfront, I'm not as well versed in what is it, exchange traded funds.
Hmm.
That's what it stands for. So basically, what an ETF will do, especially a Bitcoin ETF, it's just introducing it to the institutional
Yeah,
investor. So essentially, if you have a 401k, Roth IRA, or if you're just investing with, let's say, JP Morgan Chase, whoever the individual is, they might offer you, hey, like, have you thought about investing in a Bitcoin? So that's the gap that is filling at that point. So it's really introducing it to the institutional investor who before was afraid of it. And now they're thinking, oh, like maybe I can invest into it. Like, for example, my old manager, when I worked as a data scientist, I told him, hey, I tell everybody, hey, buy a little bit of Bitcoin. His way of getting into it was an ETF through Fidelity. I was like, all right, that's fine.
yeah,
Like you're exposed to it.
yeah.
That's important.
Awesome.
So yeah.
And then they have these trusts as well, right? Like I'm forgetting the name of the company that they have these trusts that you can also buy into
Oh,
ETF
like
into.
MicroStrategy?
No, not
Yep.
MicroStrategy. I'm forgetting the name right now. But yeah, that's awesome. So it's a great way for people to invest in it without having to buy one Bitcoin or a piece of a Bitcoin. Just have it
Sure.
in their IRA or 401k.
Yeah, essentially. So
That's
yeah,
awesome.
is that something that have you bought a Bitcoin ETF at all or
Yeah,
exposed
so
to
I
it?
have it in my retirement assets. So I have it in my Vanguard,
Okay,
and
yeah.
so I have it through that. But most of it is through the trust that I'm talking about. I'm like forgetting the name right now.
Okay.
But and then a little bit of the ETFs, but directly very little. But it's the good thing about it is that money, and we talked about this before,
Yeah,
and this is why I wanted to talk to you also. It's money that I don't necessarily need or I don't need
precisely.
right now. So all the money that I need to pay my bills, my mortgage and stuff, I'm not putting that into Bitcoin. And I think that's really important for people to get. Like, don't. There is an element of gambling to it, where there are things you can't control in the
Yes.
short term. I
1000%.
agree.
Yes.
I agree in the long term. I definitely believe in it. But in the short term, you just don't know. Like, there's so many things that can happen,
Yeah,
and definitely can't gamble your what you need, the money that you need.
absolutely. I mean, I 1000% agree with that. Like on October 10th, that was the largest liquidation in crypto history, $19
Yeah.
billion. That was higher than Mount Gox. That's the Mount Gox hack. That's higher than when FTX collapsed. $19 billion. Um, I just missed the boat on that. I got hit on November 4th, actually. So I have like a trade in.
Hmm.
So I got hit on that one. So as like everyone's like celebrating Zoran Mamdani becoming mayor, I was just like, oh my God, I can't believe that. But again, that's when you do high risk trades like that, it's the name of the game, right?
Mhm.
But then also there's another element of um, my Bitcoin reserves where it's like, all right, I don't want to touch that. That's just gonna continue to compile and grow,
Okay.
right? Yeah.
So the couple of ways to buy it, people can buy it through the ETF. So there's a trust. They could go directly and buy it from like where can they buy Bitcoin directly?
So they can go directly to Coinbase, which is an exchange. They can go to Kraken. They can go to Gemini. They can go to Binance.us. Bunch of different exchanges. A lot of these are regulated, so they do play nice with the U.S. government, and that's obviously entrust more. Well, it gives more trust to the users at that point because they know, oh, like this is insured, essentially.
Are they so, when you have money in a checking account? I think $250,000 is insured. I think
Yep.
that's the amount.
Yep.
But that's not the case with crypto, right?
For Coinbase, I believe it is. Uh, they do secure your funds if there's like some sort of hack within their system. Gemini has a thing called FDIC pass-through insurance.
Okay.
So there's like some sort of FDIC affiliation one way or another. It
Okay.
just depends on the exchange. Kraken and Binance, I'm not sure. I'm sure there's like some sort of FDIC.
There's also there's different type of wallets, like cold wallets, hot wallets, warm wallets. What are the differences between that?
Yeah, so you have your cold storage and then your hot wallet. So we'll just look into hot wallet. It's just connected to the internet. Cold storage is not connected to the internet. That's really the only difference there.
What do you do? You do both? You do a little bit of both, or
I do mainly cold storage.
mainly cold?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's like going back to the early 1900s and putting money underneath your mattress, right? You're just storing it yourself essentially, but just in a digital format.
Yeah,
Actually, that.
but it's essentially a USB that has. But if even if you lose the USB, you still don't lose your crypto as long as you have your passwords.
Yeah, so you have your security phrase. So that's 12 to 24 word, words that you just basically plug in, and then you'll be able to recover your wallet essentially at that point. Let's say that you have a ledger, you have a Trezor, you lose one, you order another one, and then you just put in your recovery phrase, and then you're good to go.
Okay.
Essentially it.
Okay. But you right now hold, this isn't recommendations, but you hold Bitcoin and Ether, and you said no longer Cardano.
Yeah, not Cardano anymore. And again, yeah, not financial advice by any means. Just something I personally didn't want to hold anymore. I was holding Ether. I don't hold Ether
Okay,
anymore.
no,
I'm
no.
I'm just
Just
Bitcoin. Not saying that I wouldn't hold Ether again,
Yeah.
but I'm primarily just Bitcoin.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay.
Literally just Bitcoin, and then whatever I got to pay my bills and I convert to cash.
Okay. So for people, they know how they can buy Bitcoin, and so we talked about how much you think, like as a percentage. Let's say just to make things easier, like what percentage of people's income do you think they should, or what percentage of their disposable income do you think they can responsibly put into Bitcoin?
Disposable income. So when you say disposable income, are you saying money that they're not scared to lose?
Yeah.
Well,
All of it.
as a
But all-
Bitcoin, I would say all in. But the thing is like the price fluctuations of Bitcoin, it's emotional, right? Just like any sort of investment, it's emotional. So you need to get used to that. So I would say like do a little bit at a time. So your disposable income, maybe do like 5-10%, wait a couple months, a year, see what happens. Maybe another like 5-10%, and then increase it. So like, get into it slowly.
Yeah.
Don't get into it thinking that you're gonna make $1 million
Yeah.
tomorrow. And I think that's just the most ridiculous thing that's been propagated throughout society, especially with the Bitcoin bros, crypto bros, and whatnot. It's not that. It's literally we're transitioning from a fiat currency system to a digital currency system that's run by the masses. So everyone's like, it's growth. That's all it is.
What do you think about? I guess people would say, okay, sounds great, but the governments don't want that. What are they, like? Obviously, the fact that the USD is a mechanism of the United States
Yeah.
to like sort of propagate all of our ideas and our foreign policy. Like USD US dollar is a weapon, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So why would the US allow that to be replaced?
That's a good question. US can't really stop it. US can't stop it. China can't stop it. The world can't stop this because the thing is, who are you going to target, right? Let's say you try to take out all the miners. Riot and Mara are the biggest miners in the world, and I think I'm missing a third one. They mine most of the Bitcoin. However, you take those offline, all right, you have a bunch of miners in South America, you have a bunch of miners in Europe, just independent miners, you have a bunch of miners in America. So who are you going to target at that point? That's my true opinion. They just can't stop it, and that's why they're deciding to play ball at this point. And then also at the same time, because governments obviously want to control, people in power just want to control, right? That's just how human nature has been for thousands of years. That's just how it is. Um, the US allegedly has around 200,000 Bitcoin, if not more. China, which has banned Bitcoin activity in its country multiple times, mining is illegal. You
Yeah.
cannot own any sort of crypto. They allegedly have 200,000 Bitcoin as well. So, I mean,
Well,
they might be trying to control it and say, no, don't do this. But then why are you hoarding all this Bitcoin then?
well, because I'm curious what the policy for. I mean, the Bangladesh government is going through a lot of
Yeah.
changes, but I wonder what their policy. I think last I heard that crypto was illegal there.
Crypto is definitely legal in Bangladesh. I'm not sure what the future holds. Obviously, you have companies like Rivertel that do exchanges, but then it's based on
Polygon,
the
yeah.
Polygon network, and then they do it through stablecoins. Um, but yeah, I mean, as far as like Bitcoin goes, it's illegal there. But again, it's the younger generation.
Yeah.
Eventually, the younger generation rises up and they make changes. So inevitably, I see the policy changing. I don't know when, I don't know how, but I mean, it has to. Because if the big players such as the US, even China in the back end are playing ball, and all these big companies such as BlackRock, JP Morgan Chase, and everyone's going to have to play ball eventually.
What's the country that's like fully backing Bitcoin? Where they like it's Argentina? Is it Argentina? That is like the government's just buying up Bitcoin like crazy, or is it? Yeah, I think it is. Or
Oh,
one of those South American countries.
um, I forgot specifically. I'm forgetting the leader's name. I can't
Yeah, he's
believe.
like
Yeah,
he's Middle Eastern descent.
yeah.
But I
Like,
am curious if Bangladesh would ever do that. I mean, because it would be a hedge against inflation for sure,
thousand
right? I mean, the
percent.
Bangladesh taka. I mean, when I first came here, it was like I don't know, 60 taka for a dollar, and now it's like
Yeah,
120 taka for
man,
a
it's
dollar.
terrible.
So it would certainly hedge against the inflation.
1000%. Javier Milei, he's a
Yeah,
leader of Argentina.
Argentina, yeah,
So he is big into crypto and Bitcoin. I'm honestly not sure if he's buying in droves right
yeah,
now. I wouldn't be surprised if he is. But then going back to the entire inflation question, I mean, Argentina and Venezuela are experiencing hyperinflation.
insane, yeah,
So people are buying, like, I mean, people are trading their bolivars from Venezuela and pesos from Argentina into Bitcoin or cryptos to as a hedge against inflation. That point. And then as far as which country is very pro Bitcoin, I mean, right now it's US is very pro Bitcoin,
yeah,
especially with all the acts that just passed.
yeah,
Very pro Bitcoin.
yeah. The Trump administration has been very pro, but they're also, you know,
You are, yeah. Let's just call it what it is.
they're double dipping a little bit.
They're being a lot of it.
Yeah, I'm not sure Trump knows what crypto is, but yeah, they're making a lot of money for
That's all he cares about.
sure. Yeah,
That he doesn't care about all this other stuff. If it makes some money, he's like, yes.
yeah. I'm glad to see U.S. being more pro crypto. I worked in crypto for a little bit, and at that time, um, London was London and Dubai were like the hubs.
Right.
All the jobs were going there, even in the U.S., New York was actually very anti-crypto, not anti-crypto, not
Yeah.
friendly toward crypto, and Miami was becoming like the hub. But I'd
Yeah.
love to see New York be more crypto friendly because it's not. And actually, that was like one of my first questions. Like, you know, we hear crypto and it's so general,
Yeah.
and within crypto, there's so many different categories of assets. Like we talked about Bitcoin, Ether, and then there's all these like and blockchain as a technology.
Yeah.
But all of that is sort of like under the crypto umbrella, and there is so much to cover, you know.
Yeah.
And even your podcast is Bitcoinomics. Even that, there's so much to cover just with
1000%.
that. But crypto in itself is so broad.
It's so vast. And that's why anyone that wants to experience it or get into it, it's like pick and choose some and then kind of just go from there. Whether it's like Bitcoin, whether it's Ethereum, even if it's Solana, if it's something like Avalanche, just like try to understand it. And the biggest advice that I am giving to people now is just don't just follow the crowds, don't just follow the trends. Actually understand what you're investing into, right? And that's like any sort of investment advice. Like if you're going to invest into Apple, Tesla, and whatnot, understand it.
Yeah.
Right? Understand why you're buying into it, or at least like understand the trends for yourself versus oh, this guy told me to invest into it, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna do it.
So they can understand it by reading the white paper. What else can they do?
Yeah, reading the white paper, going to bitcoin.org. The white paper will definitely give like a good synopsis of it. It's like 7 8 pages.
Yeah.
But then you go to bitcoin.org and then you have like a bunch of articles that you can read. You can literally just go to YouTube and just type in
So much info.
yeah,
Yeah.
just like 101 of
Coin Bureau is really good. I like them. Do you watch them?
I have not tell me about
Coin
Coin
Bureau.
Bureau. Okay.
Yeah, I mean
What
it's
is that?
it's just another it's a Bitcoin channel. Not
Okay.
Bitcoin channel, it's a crypto education. It's very educational. Just high quality
Yeah.
educational content. Yeah, they're really yeah, they're
Okay.
pretty big. And the other piece I think is important is understanding who's behind the specific coin or the token.
Yeah.
I think that's like really important. Just like
Oh, 1000%.
looking up their background, like what have they done before? Like were they I don't know, what did they do before this? Like
Yeah, yeah.
do they have any experience? Like that kind of stuff is I think it's also looking up like and you can find that on the company's website. But yeah, but it does seem like there's like new coins all the time. And it's like the new rage and it's like, you know.
Yeah,
What
man.
do you think about there's a lot of people that have made money from like, the meme coins, right?
Yeah,
Like what are your
sure.
thoughts on the meme coins?
Look, you can make money off of it, but you have to be diligent, and it's just like trading at that point. I know a friend, I mean, he's a big time trader, but he's traded everything under the sun probably, and he used to trade meme coins as well. So if you have a plan for it, sure, you can make money off of it. But if you just get into meme coin dog with hat because someone told you to,
Yeah.
good luck. I mean, I don't know if it's gonna go up, down, sideways, whatnot.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, if you're gonna do it, be intentional about it. If you're doing it just to mess around, you're gonna lose your money.
Do you invest in so I'm assuming you have a portfolio and or is Bitcoin most of your portfolio or do you still try to diversify into like other assets?
I uh I'm all Bitcoin.
Wow.
Yes. So and this is a transition over 7 years.
Wow.
So end of 2017, got into it, then started consolidating down to Bitcoin, Ethereum, and then Cardano. Then I looked at my cash reserves, 401k, Roth IRA, and started pivoting those. And then the 401k was big because that's a huge chunk of change, right? Especially like working however
And the
many.
penalty.
Yeah, so it's like I had to think about that. I was like, is this worth it? And then this, and I did the math and everything, and I was like, yeah, man. And I also had another friend. Um, he had been in Bitcoin just as long as me, but the way he had accumulated Bitcoin was definitely more efficient and just better. And so he had done the same thing. I was like, all right, man, like I'm gonna. And you hear people do that.
Wow.
Yeah, and yeah, so you pay the penalty. You obviously pay the taxes on it that year and whatnot. But I mean, I don't regret it. It was definitely scary.
Yeah.
It's definitely scary, dude, because we're so conditioned to have a 401k, have a Roth IRA, have these like traditional investment firms, and then no one's telling you do this. I mean, and people will think you're crazy. But then, as far as my mindset goes, well, I mean, the U.S. dollar is a currency, and Bitcoin is a currency. So then that's it.
Mm.
So yeah,
Do you think that's the right move for most people?
no, do not do that. Absolutely not. If you got a wife, husband, family, kids, and
Yeah.
stuff, dude, no, save yourself that troublesome conversation unless you truly believe in it, and then sit them down and have a conversation. But absolutely not, because the thing is, investing, again, going back to the emotions of it, it's such an emotional toll,
Yeah.
especially with something like that. I mean, if you put it into like, let's say, your money to a high yield savings account, it's like, okay, that's fine. You're gonna, especially nowadays, you're gonna yield 4% interest. Great.
Hmm.
You put into Bitcoin, there's gonna be years where the price goes down.
Yeah.
Just like the end of this year, it went from 125, and now it's all the way down to 87,000. People are gonna lose their minds over that. So definitely not.
Yeah.
Yeah, it took me years. It took me years to jump into that and research and just like just reflecting and talking about it before I jumped into that. So yeah.
The one of the other pieces that we touched on a little bit is remittance, sort of like sending money to Bangladesh. Like
Yeah.
I know even 10 years ago, I was going to the actual offices and like outside
Yeah,
of Jackson
yeah,
Heights, you know, giving them cash and they would send money to Bangladesh and they'll charge like a $5 fee for
Yeah.
$100, which is crazy.
yeah.
And now there's apps. When you mentioned one of them, do you see Bitcoin sort of replacing that?
It could. It definitely could. Because, I mean, if you look at Bitcoin's trajectory and growth, right now, the move to transfer money is stable coins. Banks are buying
Yeah.
into it, government's buying into it. I'm all for it. Because the thing is, if this is a transition point of people getting more into crypto, I'm all for it.
Hmm.
I mean, at the end of the day, though, Bitcoin's, at least right now, the growth is not slowing down. So that could potentially overtake it eventually, where it's just, or it could live side by side, right? Let's
Yeah.
say all these banks now utilize stablecoin technology to transfer money. It's like, okay, well, you can also use Bitcoin to transfer money as well. So both could live together. Overtaking potentially, but yeah, potentially. So,
I guess there's a learning curve on the other side, right? Okay, we can learn about Bitcoin where, I mean, they expect some of our family members in Bangladesh to, learn about
yeah.
how to accept it, or maybe it'll be easier. Maybe there's a way to make it easier for them to be able to accept Bitcoin,
All right.
right? Because they're just it would be a huge learning curve. But it's so fast. Like I would love that.
Yeah.
Like I
Yeah.
would love it. Like I mean, even some of these apps, I mean, they're fast.
Yeah.
Uh, but sending somebody Bitcoin through their wallet is like super fast, and there's no fees. I mean, it's like almost no fees.
And like just to kind of give you an idea, and obviously this isn't for everything, and it depends on the congestion of the
Yeah.
network at the time of day and whatnot. I've been transferring like anywhere from, I remember in the past couple of months, like $1,000 to $5,000 worth of Bitcoin, just like from wallet to wallet. I'm paying like $1.
It's insane.
That's crazy. And the thing is, so whenever people talk about, oh, Bitcoin's so expensive, it's like, okay, that's fine. Like, but how much are you paying with Solana? How much are you paying with Ethereum, gas fees? How much are you paying transferring money with Western Union all the way to Bangladesh? Like, how much are you paying for that? There's a lot of just coined phrases people want to use, just be like, oh, Bitcoin's too expensive. Like, okay, but like, tell me, show me, right? Have you had those conversations with your family in Bangladesh as far as like getting into crypto or Bitcoin or whatnot?
I haven't. Maybe a few people that are just like really educated, but I think that they're weary of a lot of this stuff. I think I think there's a lot of anti sort of like Western sentiment in Bangladesh. So I
Right,
feel like a lot
right.
of these things are
Okay.
sort of like, oh, the U.S. trying to
Oh, it's one of
implement stuff.
those.
Like I think it's a lot of that. I sense that, and it could be true. Like I mean, look, some people think Bitcoin was invented by an American, by an American. But some people say that the CIA invented it. Have you heard that?
I have heard that.
Yeah.
I have heard that. It's like they're all conspiracy theories. I don't know. Anything is possible, right?
Yeah,
It's
but also going back to what we were saying about government control.
yeah.
I mean, for sure that whoever's in power in Bangladesh would want government control. Control.
Sure.
So for them, they definitely would not want to give it up. Give up power to something like Bitcoin. Like I could say that would be problematic for Bangladesh. But I hope we are in a world. I mean, if you look at like whenever they have a movie about the future, there is
Yeah.
something like Bitcoin being used.
Yes, all the
Like
time.
nobody's using cash in the future.
That's crazy.
Like,
It's like, and if you think about all the sci-fi movies, it's always okay. I've transferred 1,000 units to you.
Yeah.
I've transferred 50 units
Yeah.
to you. You can literally exchange units with Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Maybe the same thing.
yeah.
Essentially. So here's the interesting thing. There's a book called The Sovereign Individual. It was written in 1997, and it predicted the invention of Bitcoin, essentially, or some sort of digital asset. It didn't call it Bitcoin, but it said there will be in the future will be exchanging, utilizing digital assets.
Wow.
And that book actually predicted a bunch of different things.
1997.
1997. I remember I was like so intrigued by the book. I was like stopping and going, stopping and going. I could only get to like the first 50 to 100 pages because I'm like, this is crazy. Like
Wow.
how do they know these things? But that goes back to like data and predictability and everything. So
You said you were a data scientist. That was your day job before.
that was my day job.
So you're not doing that anymore.
I do still do that, more like contract work, but like
Gotcha.
open to full time right now. But yeah, so that's my most recent profession as a data scientist.
So I think so. You had like a traditional job, and then now so there is this like sort of I think immigrant mindset that a lot of us have, our parents had, and now we have is just like being very risk averse.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's why it causes a lot of us not to go into sort of like these type of get to it, and then we lose out.
Yeah, that's
So like I think this. Do you think it's like a balance where you have like you can lose a little bit of that and take a little bit more risk? Because I think we do that. A lot of us, we do well in school, go
Yeah.
to like the predictable career paths. And
Yeah.
should we be a little bit more risky with our money now that we can? Because our parents couldn't, right? That's the thing.
Sure,
Our parents
sure.
couldn't, and they had to put food on the table. But maybe now it's time we should.
I definitely agree with that sentiment because the thing is, our parents did what they did for us, and obviously they couldn't be as risky, right? So now our lives are set up this much, so it's like, well, I mean, if we have the ability to be more risky, like why not? I mean, you're only living one life, and so it's like, why not be a little bit more risky? And whether it's money, whether it's like taking risk on different occupations, living
Mhm.
somewhere else, it's like, why not be a little bit risky if you have the ability to? Yeah, because our parents set us up, so it's and why wouldn't we try to elevate our lives and then potentially the lives for our children as well?
Yeah,
So
for
definitely.
sure. Last thing I wanted to talk about is this: if let's say you hold Bitcoin, whether it's in a cold wallet, hot wallet. So what are some? I know people. Yeah, I hear people about here that they got scammed out of their Bitcoin. Or
Yeah, dude.
what are some things people can do to make sure that doesn't happen to them?
Oh man, the scams are getting really good. They're getting really good. You really just got to be careful, do your due diligence, and then if there's, you really got to trust your intuition. I know that sounds like very just like ambiguous, but it's if something doesn't feel right, I mean, definitely do your research first and look into it. So I'll give you a couple examples here. If someone is asking you to send them, they're gonna send you money, probably a scam. No one's gonna send you Bitcoin or crypto just for free. They're trying to get info out of you, right? Or here's another example. So the popular hardware wallet known as Ledger, they, not them, but scammers are actually sending out letters to people because Ledger
I have a
actually,
ledger.
right.
I'll look out for that.
So basically, what happened was Ledger had a security hack with a lot of information, not crypto or anything like that, but just a lot of data like name, address, and whatnot, was hacked and stolen. So with that, scammers have now sent physical letters to people saying, "Oh, by the way, like you need to update your ledger. Here's a QR code to scan, and then make sure you're in your ledger. Do not scan that."
Wow.
No hardware wallet, Trezor, Ledger, they will not send letters like that to you. And those are the moments where you get on Reddit, where you get online and just type in, is this a scam? And usually you'll know that
Well,
immediately. Yeah. So really
have you ever almost gotten scammed?
I'm trying to think. Almost got, I mean, I've definitely gotten, I definitely had a hack on my
Oh,
computer once someone installed something and I was just like negligent about it. It was like an atom stealer or something like that. And then I had to think about it. I was like, wait a minute, what's on here? Is it any sort of like secure things or whatnot? But I like, I changed my passwords and everything, and everything had been just fine. Because I was concerned. I was like, wait, is there like any sort of crypto or Bitcoin stuff on there? But there wasn't. So
mm.
that was like the closest.
Do you memorize your key phrases or you have them somewhere safe?
No, there's somewhere safe.
Okay. Some people memorize the key phrases.
I know that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy work because the thing is, you have to keep that memorized for your entire life.
25 of them
Yeah, I mean,
or whatever. Yeah.
it's. I'm not memorizing that. That's crazy. Did you memorize yours?
No,
I was gonna say.
I have my wife for the watches, but I gave her because they're in they give you like three papers to write them on. So
Yeah,
I
yeah.
was like I gave one of them to my wife. I was like, hold this, keep this in a safe place. She puts it in her wallet that she takes to school every single day.
Why are you
Funny
saying this out loud right now?
she's not watching. No, but yeah, I mean, yeah, no, I have them in a lockbox, but yeah,
Yeah,
it's a good conversation though.
yeah,
I think
absolutely.
there's so much more we can cover.
Definitely, man.
And yeah, and I think that it's really important. I think our community can gain a lot from just participating. I think and we're gonna miss out,
Yeah,
and we don't want to it be $10 million and then we have to buy it then.
that'd be terrible.
Set us up. It could set us up because one thing that you think about is there's all of these. I came in the '90s, early '90s in New York, and there was all these families that work really hard, purchase properties,
Yeah,
sometimes in really bad neighborhoods,
yeah,
but that set up the entire generation
yeah,
because those houses are worth so much
yeah.
now are worth like these areas, Kensington, Rochester, those houses are worth a fortune now, and that's
Wow.
set us up, right? Set up
Yeah, yeah.
future generations. So it's kind of like that with Bitcoin. Like you could really set up future generations just by participating a little bit.
1000%. And that's my entire idea right now. That's why I got into it. And I'm thinking just like the dot-com boom or just by like buying properties very early on. I'm just thinking, dude, like I'm doing this for myself, obviously.
So you still think it's early?
Yeah, it's still early.
Yeah.
It's still Yeah, I mean, it's not as early as it was
Of
7 years
course, of
ago.
course, yeah,
It's still early now because the thing is, I still come across. I mean, we're having this conversation. We're
yeah,
trying to give more exposure out there and more awareness. I still have a lot of family and friends being like, and nothing against them. They're just like, oh, like it's too volatile. Like I don't really understand. There's still hesitancy behind it. So until it's fully fledged out where we're exchanging Bitcoin, and I'd say like just Bitcoin me at this
yeah,
point, still pretty early,
yeah, for
I'd
sure.
say. So
Cool.
yeah,
Yeah, thanks for. We'll definitely talk more about this.
yeah, no, looking forward to it. So.